Hi, this is an IKC video lesson with Suzanne. This lesson is called Comparatives and Superlatives, Part 2. This is Part 2 of 2 lessons on comparatives and superlatives. At the end of this lesson, I hope that you'll be able to use superlatives to express your opinion and make comparisons between more than 2 things. Part 2 of this lesson is mostly about superlatives. In the previous lesson, we focused on comparatives. What are superlatives? Superlatives, like comparatives, are adjectives that we change, and we use them to make comparisons between more than 2 things. If you remember from the previous lesson, comparatives are used to show the difference between one thing and another thing. Superlatives are used to show the difference between one thing and a few other things, or many other things. We also use superlatives to express an opinion. And finally, we use superlatives to describe something to the greatest degree or the least degree. We sometimes use superlatives to exaggerate, like when we're telling stories. Here's some examples. Jan is the tallest in my family. This is an example of using superlative, the tallest, to compare more than 2 things. So we're assuming that Jan has more than 2 family members, and Jan is the tallest, so it's comparing Jan to all the other family members. Number 2, the North Star is the brightest this evening. Again, this is comparing more than 2 things. This is comparing the North Star to all the other stars that you can see in the sky this evening. Number 3, the best pizza I ever had was in Italy. And this is expressing an opinion. The speaker is saying that the best pizza they ever had, so it's a personal opinion. And they might be exaggerating a little bit or emphasizing the best pizza in order to tell a story about a time they were in Italy. Number 4, race car driving is one of the most dangerous sports. This is describing something to the greatest degree. This is comparing race car driving to other sports, but also talking about how race car driving is to the greatest degree a dangerous sport. Here's how we form superlatives. We form superlatives with the and then the adjective plus est, or just st. Here's some examples. Great is the adjective, greater is the comparative, and the greatest is the superlative. We also have small, smaller, the smallest. Happy, happier, the happiest. Nice, nicer, the nicest. Here are a couple more examples of using superlatives in a sentence. This is going to be the hardest exam. I saw the scariest movie last night. Some words that are longer or have 2 or more syllables take the plus most to form the superlatives. So, for example, beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful. So instead of saying beautifulest, to form the superlative, we say the most beautiful. Comfortable, more comfortable, the most comfortable. expensive, more expensive, the most expensive. Fun, more fun, the most fun. And here's an example. I'm reading the most interesting book right now. So we wouldn't say I'm reading the interestingest book right now. That's really hard to say, even to show an example that's incorrect. But there are some words that you can use est, st, or most, and both forms would be correct. So here's an example. This is the simplest route to take, but you could also say this is the most simple route to take, and that's also correct. Here's another example. They were the politest customers. You could also say they were the most polite customers. Okay, here's an opportunity to practice with superlatives. You can complete the table below with the correct form of superlatives, and I've already written the adjectives and the comparative form. And at this point you can pause the video so you have a chance to take some notes or write the answers. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and show the answers now. Old, older, the oldest. Funny, funnier, the funniest. Modern, more modern, the most modern. Handsome, more handsome or handsomer, the most handsome or the handsomest. Safe, safer, the safest. Here's another opportunity to practice. A good friend of yours is coming to Copenhagen and wants to know all about the city. Complete their questions below using the adjective that you see in parentheses. And the first one is done for you. What is the best place to visit in Copenhagen? So we change the word good to the superlative the best to complete the question. And here you can pause the video if you want a chance to write down your answers. Otherwise, I'm going to go through the questions. Where can I find the most delicious food? Is riding a bike the easiest way to get around? I don't have a lot of money. Where's the cheapest place to stay? Are there any areas that are dangerous? Which areas are the safest? And this concludes our video lesson on superlatives, part 2 of our comparatives and superlatives video lessons. Thank you so much for watching.